So I mean, David and I were talking before, like, the how are you doing this week? Well, both of us feel a sort of sense of dread.
Yeah.
I mean, mainly, I mean, obviously for the obvious reason of being subjected to the horrifying images of, the invasion and bombing and shelling and enclosure of the West Bank and Gaza, and disgusting. Um, it's also been strange because like probably the most since he died, Michael Brooks has been appearing in my
Very
feed,
present.
and for his clarity on these issues. And the one we played up top for the cold open, that was certainly like, I mean, that was towards the end of his life, and that was definitely when he had gotten into I guess I would put it like in his final form, in I guess a Dragon Ball Z sense. He was at the height of his powers at that point.
Hmm.
Um, I wanted to play a different clip. This is him on I-24. Well, first, before we do that, among the people that shared this Michael Brooks lecture was Halsey. Now, I must confess, I don't. I'm not super familiar with Halsey. I mean, this. I think this is one of the cases where if I heard the songs, I'd know, but
Hmm.
I don't follow pop music as close as I did. But Halsey, uh, the musician, shared with just a simple title. It's not complicated by Michael Brooks. It's got almost 3,000 retweets, 19,000 likes. Halsey has 14.1 million followers, and uh, you know, a lot of times in this past year, people have said um, that they wish Michael was here, and I definitely like every day miss
For
Michael.
sure.
Um, and although when it's done in reference to was here to weigh in on this petty intra-left dispute, I sometimes think like there's a saving grace that he doesn't have to put up with some of this shit. But
Yeah.
definitely this period like this, you like I'm definitely feeling his absence. And I think it's amazing that so many other people are as well. It's kind of mind blowing.
It's been really great to see as it is, difficult. I mean, there's other people watching us, not just you and I right now, but as well as I do how hard it can be to one, miss somebody so much who was so close to you, and then see them in the public sphere like that, and be really proud and happy, and wish that they were able to see how beloved that they were, and how much impact that their voice had on folks.
And this is such a difficult time for so many people. Like
Hmm.
when these issues come up, and like I just see the way people share the show. Like this show is more urgent, right?
Hmm.
Like when there's something like this going on, and having him in studio and being able to bounce stuff off him was amazing and such a
and
um, yeah, treasure.
and again, this is one of those things that is just, the pain of losing somebody so close to you is going to be extreme. But the times when it feels really real are moments like these, because I remember so many conversations that we had before, like big moments like this, whenever it felt like there was something big in the news, and just trying to figure out, okay, not only are we going to talk about this, but how do we need to present this? How do we need to get these ideas out there? And those were always really, incredible moments to be a part of. But they also gave me a lot of personal clarity. um, and I miss that a lot, and I sometimes fall into a habit of having imaginary conversations about these things, because it's yeah, I don't know, it's a lot. Well, we should
Yeah.
do this, because actually this is the other fun side, um, too, because this clip is so great, man. And I don't know if you wanted to set it up, but this was one of those things where Michael was really proud of this clip in particular.
Yeah, all I want to say about the run up is this: is I'd been working like I worked with Michael since 2015, and at that point, I was never in awe of Michael because we were both like basically Sam Cedars producers, like gophers,
Yeah.
basically, right? And that was kind of our dynamic. Like I loved working with him, but it wasn't like
Mm,
the amazing Michael, like how people talk about him now. This period of time when he started doing these hits and like building up his confidence, and
hmm
like he always was a great conversation about these things, but he never had the ability to, I think, put it into paragraphs while he's speaking until like
hmm
about this period of time when he was really hitting his stride. And all this, and I think Michael would want us to say this doesn't come from like his magic brain. It comes from his dedication to these issues and
Yeah.
just the constant time and effort to like read, and his curiosity like was endless. So I just want to play this here because I remember him coming in and he loved to show me and David and also all the TMBS viewers anytime
We
he
probably
had.
did this on the show like 5 times.
I know we literally may have done this one like 5 times, but it was great, and so I wanted to bring it back up because it does like he really is hitting his stride at this point.
There was one group that wasn't included in that resolution, and that was the Palestinians as a people, where regular racism and dehumanization towards them is entirely accepted. The reality is that Ilhan Omar is correct on the merits. She's correct on the policy. Saying that she said this comment about dual allegiance is a great leap to begin with. And I have to say, I find it extraordinary that people on the right, who sometimes accurately, by the way, not always, but sometimes accurately, say people on the left, jump to accusations too quickly of various bigotries and read into things. They've been reading into every single thing that the Congresswoman has said from the beginning, most of which are substantive critiques of a sovereign nation state that happens to administer a horrific regime that violates people's rights on a daily basis in Gaza, the West Bank, and even inside Israel in some respects. The new indictment about Netanyahu isn't just garden variety corruption. It involves actually undermining democracy. So I support Ilhan Omar. I don't buy, and I also, in fact, support Corbyn, in fact. And the reality is that these things are going to become debated on the merits, and we're not going to have a false equivalency and actually drag down the profoundly serious issue of anti-Semitism by equating it with all criticism of a sovereign nation state that administers apartheid in reality.
Look, I think this is.
I forgot to say, as a Jew,
So
Oh, right.
that's true.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that this was from one of the times we reviewed this. So that's Joshua Kahn Russell. But I mean, should we hear Michael, or I think people can maybe go to the clip if they want to see the rest of Michael's review on that. But I mean,
Yeah.
really, like impressive that he developed into that. Because I remember he was doing like, if people want to search the old Majority Report for the Global Quickie, he had a few different iterations of this sort of like global perspective and ability to talk about these issues. And it clicked at a certain point. It probably around when we were doing those live shows. And I'm just happy for him that it's still, a source of clarity for people about these things.
I think that's the way to frame it, is that these conversations, I mean, it's beautiful for his voice and his clarity. It's sad for the continuation of these systems, and how clear the playbook is, that it still is, it's like the same crap, the same kind of talking points get trotted out every time people are reminded of of the apartheid state in Israel. And yeah, I mean, it's been really sweet though to see all of the the remembrance and the how well this work has sort of been able to stand up
Yeah.
on its own 2 feet. Because you don't even need to introduce the clip.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just synthesizes so much. Like the way he brings up Casril's and South Africa, like, right? Like I mean, he just had done the work, I guess.
He's done the work, and I gotta say, maybe later we'll find a little bit more from that clip, because one thing I have to say that I always appreciated about Michael, and in his passing, I think sometimes some folks, because how we want to remember people in a certain light. Michael was a really good hater. And Michael in this interview really demolishes this guy. And I don't know, the conversations we had
And
behind the
it's great
scenes were
with
very
Michael
funny.
because Michael's doing an impression of the guy too. Like, so he's doing both parts. Like, so I said this and this.
I mean, it was really, really masterful. You know, he treated people with the respect that they deserved. And, you know, somebody who's going to go up there and say just vile things and you know, lie about what's going on there and try to slander Ilhan Omar, who was doing the just and correct thing in that moment. Maybe not perfectly polished, if I remember correctly, you know, for all of the kind of bad faith attacks that she was going to receive. But she was on the good, you know, she was doing the right thing. And this other guy was trying to, you know, run interference for empire and genocide.
And I
So-
love the way Michael went out of his way to stand up for Corbyn. Frankly, there should have been a lot more of that from people in the media in general, because I think there was. I mean, maybe I don't have the sense of the UK press down entirely, but like it just seemed like
Oh,
he just had to take it and take it and take it.
I mean, I think that was the worst. I mean, the lies that have been spread about Jeremy Corbyn are just despicable. You know, and it was important to call out then. It's even more important to call out now because they were effectively able to use that to you know, undermine the aspirations of the Labour Party.
Well, and you see why. Like, I mean, I think Ilhan Ilhan and Rashida Tlaib among the squad obviously had the best response, but Corbyn's was, you know, like the first or second word was the provocations, right? Like emphasizing what needs to be emphasized about an issue with the power dynamics as clear as, you know, Michael says they are.
Honestly, and you know, for all of like the blathering that we get from folks about really all I really want is peace, you know, it is people like Corbyn and Michael Brooks who are the people who are really fighting for peace.